March 17th, 1945. 6:47 a.m. The jungle of Luzon Island, Philippines. Corporal Raymond Briggs crouches behind a rotting mahogany trunk, his back pressed against bark that crumbles like wet paper. The air is thick enough to chew. Humidity so dense that sweat no longer evaporates, just pools in every crease of his body, mixing with mud and dried blood that is not his own. Through the curtain of palm fronds, he counts them. 18 Japanese soldiers, Imperial Army, moving in a crescent formation through the undergrowth 40 yards ahead. They have not seen him yet, but they will. In approximately 90 seconds, by his calculation, their patrol arc will intersect with his position behind this fallen tree. There is nowhere to run. The ravine behind him drops 60 feet into a river gorge. The vegetation to his left is too thick to penetrate silently. To his right, an open clearing that might as well be a shooting gallery. The mathematics are simple. 18 against 1. He has a Thompson submachine gun with a 20-round magazine, 1 fragmentation grenade, a Colt .45 pistol with 7 rounds, a K-bar fighting knife strapped to his thigh, 27 rounds, plus the grenade, plus the knife. 18 men. Corporal Raymond Briggs, United States Army, 25th Infantry Division, looks down at his weapon. He checks the bolt. He steadies his breathing. He does something his squadmates would later describe as impossible to believe. He smiles. To understand what happens in the next 30 seconds, you need to understand who Raymond Briggs was before the war turned him into something else entirely. Akron, Ohio, 1922. Raymond Francis Briggs enters the world weighing 6 pounds, 4 ounces. The third child of a tire factory foreman and a school teacher. By all accounts, an unremarkable birth in an unremarkable house, on an unremarkable street in a city that smelled perpetually of vulcanized rubber. The boy grows up small. At 14, he stands 5 feet 4 inches and weighs 118 pounds. The other boys call him Mouse. He hates the name but cannot escape it. His older brothers tower over him. His father, a barrel-chested man who played semi-professional football before the First War, looks at his youngest son with something Raymond interprets as disappointment. What nobody notices, because nobody thinks to look, is what Raymond does in his spare time. Every afternoon after school, he walks 3 miles to the edge of town where old Mr. Kowalczyk maintains an unofficial shooting range in his back 40 acres. The old man had been a sharpshooter in the Polish army before emigrating in 1905. He sees something in the skinny boy with the serious eyes. For 4 years, Raymond shoots. Rifles, pistols, shotguns. He shoots until his fingers blister, until those blisters become calluses, until those calluses become as hard as the walnut grips of Mr. Kowalczyk's ancient revolver. The old Pole teaches him breathing techniques, trigger discipline, the zen of the aimed shot versus the chaos of spray and pray. Most importantly, he teaches Raymond to shoot fast. Not fast like the cowboys in the pictures. Fast like a reflex. Fast like blinking. By 18, Raymond Briggs can draw a pistol and put 3 rounds into a playing card at 15 yards in under 2 seconds. Mr. Kowalczyk times him with a railroad pocket watch. He makes Raymond do it again and again until the motion becomes unconscious, until thought and action merge into a single impulse. The old man has a philosophy about violence. He shares it with Raymond one autumn afternoon as they clean their weapons in the fading light. Violence is not about anger. Anger makes you sloppy. Violence is not about hatred. Hatred clouds your judgment. Violence, when it becomes necessary, must be as calm as arithmetic. You see the problem. You calculate the solution. You execute. Emotion comes later, after you are still alive to feel it. Raymond never forgets these words. Mr. Kowalczyk dies in December 1940, peacefully, in his sleep. Raymond attends the funeral. He is one of only 7 mourners. The old man had no family in America, no children, just a few acquaintances, and one young man who learned everything important about survival from an immigrant with a thick accent and an ancient revolver. Raymond inherits the revolver, a Nagant M 1895. 7 rounds, double action. He keeps it in a wooden box under his bed. He will take it with him when he ships out to the Pacific. It will be in his footlocker when he kills 18 men in 30 seconds. A talisman from a dead teacher, a reminder of where his skills came from. December 8th, 1941. Raymond is working at his father's tire factory when the news comes over the radio. Pearl Harbor, war. He enlists the following morning. The recruiting sergeant looks at his slight frame and suggests maybe the Navy would be a better fit. Raymond asks if there is a marksmanship test. There is. He qualifies as expert on his first attempt, hitting 40 out of 40 targets. The sergeant tears up the Navy recommendation. Basic training at Camp Shelby, Mississippi. Then advanced infantry training. Then specialized weapons instruction at a facility in Georgia whose existence was not officially acknowledged. The Army has discovered what Mr. Kowalczyk knew years before. Raymond Briggs is not just a good shot. He is something else. Something rare. The military has a term for soldiers like Raymond. They call them natural killers. The phrase sounds worse than its meaning. What it really describes is a psychological profile. Most soldiers, when confronted with life or death combat, experience a phenomenon called perceptual narrowing, tunnel vision, time distortion, loss of fine motor control. Their heart rate spikes above 175 beats per minute, and their higher brain functions begin to degrade. Raymond Briggs does not experience this. In testing, under simulated combat stress, his heart rate elevates to only 140 beats per minute. His vision remains clear. His hands remain steady. His processing speed actually increases. The Army psychologists have a theory about this. They believe some individuals are neurologically wired for combat the way others are wired for music or mathematics. Evolution, in its infinite randomness, occasionally produces a human being optimized for violence. Raymond finds the theory distasteful. He prefers Mr. Kowalczyk's explanation. Practice. There is another factor the psychologists do not measure. Raymond Briggs is not afraid to die. Not because he is brave, not because he is reckless, but because he made peace with death long ago, in the back 40 of Mr. Kowalczyk's farm. When the old man told him something that stuck, every bullet you fire is a conversation with mortality. You are deciding who lives and who dies. That power will change you. Accept the change. Do not fight it. A man who fears death cannot deal it effectively. A man who accepts it becomes dangerous. Raymond accepted. June 1944. Raymond Briggs, now a corporal, arrives in the Pacific Theater. He is assigned to the 25th Infantry Division, the unit they call the Tropic Lightning for the shoulder patch they wear. His first combat occurs on the island of New Georgia, then Vella La Vella, then the Philippines. Over 8 months, Raymond participates in 37 separate engagements with Japanese forces. He is wounded twice. A graze to his left shoulder from a sniper round. Shrapnel in his right calf from a mortar. Neither wound is serious enough for evacuation. He kills his first enemy soldier on New Georgia, a young Japanese private who stumbles into their position while Raymond is on sentry duty. The boy cannot be older than 17. Raymond shoots him once in the chest with his .45. The boy looks surprised. Then nothing. Raymond does not sleep for 3 nights afterward. By his 15th engagement, he no longer has trouble sleeping. This is what war does. By March 1945, Corporal Raymond Briggs has become something of a legend within his company. The men tell stories about him in hushed tones. How he once shot a Japanese officer off a moving truck at 300 yards with iron sights. How he cleared an enemy bunker single-handed during the fight for San Manuel, killing 6 occupants in under 10 seconds. How he never seems to miss. His commanding officer, Captain Edward Walsh, writes in a field report that Corporal Briggs possesses an almost preternatural calm under fire that borders on the unsettling. His fellow soldiers give him a new nickname, one he likes better than Mouse. They call him Ghost. March 16th, 1945. The day before, the 25th Division is engaged in the bloody push toward Baguio, the summer capital of the Philippines. Japanese resistance is fierce. The enemy has dug into the mountainous terrain, creating a network of caves and bunkers that must be taken one at a time. Progress is measured in yards. Casualties are heavy. Corporal Briggs is leading a 4-man patrol through the jungle east of the main advance. Their mission is reconnaissance. Identify enemy positions. Report back. Do not engage unless necessary. The patrol consists of Briggs, Private First Class Thomas Henley from Boston, Private Jerome Washington from Chicago, and Private Robert Callahan from San Francisco. They have worked together for 3 months. They trust each other with their lives. At 1400 hours, they walk into an ambush. The first burst of fire kills Henley instantly. The second catches Washington in the leg. Callahan drags him behind a rock outcropping while Briggs returns fire, killing 2 of the ambushers with precise shots. But there are too many. At least 15, maybe 20. The Japanese have them pinned. The firefight lasts 40 minutes. Washington bleeds out despite Callahan's attempts to stop the hemorrhaging. Callahan takes a round through the throat in the final minutes. He dies looking at Briggs with an expression of confusion, as if he cannot quite believe what is happening. Briggs kills 7 more Japanese soldiers during the battle, but when the firing stops, and he is the only American still breathing, he realizes his situation. He is alone, 5 miles behind enemy lines. His radio was destroyed in the opening volley. He has limited ammunition. He has no food. He has a dead compass from a bullet that should have hit him instead. Night falls. Briggs moves. He travels through the darkness using the stars and his memory of the terrain maps he studied before the patrol. The jungle at night is a symphony of sounds. Insects, animals, the distant pop of artillery from the main battle line. Every shadow could hide an enemy soldier. Every rustle of vegetation could be an ambush. Briggs moves like water. Slow, silent, patient. By dawn, he has covered 3 miles. He finds a hiding spot in the hollow of a massive strangler fig tree. He eats the last of his rations, 2 crackers and a tin of Spam. He drinks from his canteen. He cleans his weapons. He waits. He sleeps in 45-minute intervals, waking at the slightest sound. This is a skill he learned early in his deployment. The human body can survive on minimal sleep if that sleep is taken efficiently. 4 hours in 45-minute blocks is enough to maintain cognitive function. Barely. That afternoon, he sees the first patrol. 8 Japanese soldiers moving through the undergrowth 300 yards to his north. He watches them through the scope of his rifle. They are searching for something, or someone. Him. Briggs does not move. He barely breathes. The patrol passes. An hour later, another patrol, this one larger, 12 men. By nightfall, he counts 4 separate patrols in his area. The Japanese know an American soldier is somewhere in this jungle. They are hunting him. Briggs waits until full darkness. Then he moves again. He heads southwest, toward where he estimates the American lines to be. The terrain is brutal. Steep ravines, dense vegetation, hidden sinkholes. Twice he nearly steps on snakes. Once he hears voices and freezes against a tree for 20 minutes until the sound fades. By 0400 hours, he reaches the edge of a small clearing. Beyond it, he can see the beginning of the ravine system that leads down to the Agno River. If he can reach the river, he can follow it west to the American positions. He is so close. March 17th, 1945, 6:32 a.m. Raymond Briggs is 15 minutes from salvation when he hears them coming. The patrol emerges from the jungle to his east. He counts them quickly. 18 men. A reinforced squad. They are moving in a standard search pattern, covering ground methodically. They are good. Professional. Briggs looks for options. The ravine behind him is too steep for a fast descent. The jungle to his flanks is too dense for silent movement. The clearing ahead would expose him immediately. He is trapped. The patrol advances. 200 yards. 150 yards. 100 yards. Briggs runs the calculations in his head. His Thompson holds 20 rounds. Rate of fire is 600 rounds per minute. That means he can empty the magazine in 2 seconds if he holds the trigger down. But spraying is wasteful, inaccurate. At this range, against this many targets, he needs precision. 70 yards. He has 1 grenade. If he throws it at the center of their formation, he might kill 4, maybe 5. The blast will disorient the survivors. Give him a window. 50 yards. In that window, he needs to eliminate the remaining soldiers before they can return effective fire. 13 to 14 targets. 20 rounds. He cannot miss more than 6 shots. And he needs to reload in the middle of the engagement if he wants to use the full capacity of his weapon. 40 yards. The leered soldier stops. He holds up a fist. The patrol halts. He has seen something. A broken branch. A footprint. Something that tells him they are close to their quarry. Raymond Briggs watches the soldier scan the tree line. The man's eyes pass over his hiding spot once, twice. On the third pass, they lock onto him. For a moment, neither man moves. It is as if time has frozen. The Japanese soldier's face transitions through a rapid sequence of emotions. Confusion, recognition, fear. He opens his mouth to shout a warning. Briggs smiles. Not a smile of joy or amusement. Something older, more primal. The smile of a predator in the instant before the kill. 6:47 a.m. Second 0. The grenade leaves Briggs's hand before the Japanese soldier can complete his warning shout. It arcs through the humid morning air, spinning end over end, landing exactly where he aimed it. Center mass of the patrol formation. Second 1.5. The soldiers see the grenade. Their training kicks in. Some dive for cover. Some try to run. One brave or foolish private tries to grab the grenade and throw it back. Second 3. Detonation. The M2 fragmentation grenade contains approximately 6 ounces of TNT filler. Its body breaks into roughly 30 fragments upon detonation, each capable of causing lethal wounds at a radius of 15 yards. The effective casualty radius is larger. The explosion kills 5 soldiers instantly. The private who tried to throw the grenade back ceases to exist as a coherent human form. 4 others are caught in the primary blast zone. They are dead before they hit the ground. 3 more soldiers are wounded badly enough to be effectively out of the fight. They will die within the hour from blood loss and shock. That leaves 10. Second 4. Briggs is already moving. He breaks from cover, Thompson raised to his shoulder, sighting down the barrel as he runs toward the chaos of the blast zone. The surviving soldiers are disoriented, deafened by the explosion, covered in dirt and the blood of their comrades. Second 5. First target. A sergeant, judging by his insignia, trying to rally his men. Briggs puts 2 rounds center mass. The sergeant folds. Second 6. Second target. A rifleman turning toward the sound of Briggs's fire. 1 round to the chest. He drops. Second 7. Third target. Another rifleman, this one with faster reflexes. He has his weapon almost raised when Briggs's burst catches him in the throat and face. 3 rounds. Excessive. Inefficient, but certain. Second 8. Briggs keeps moving. Never static. A moving target is harder to hit. Basic infantry doctrine. He zigzags through the smoke and confusion, identifying threats, eliminating them. Fourth target, 2 rounds. Kill. Second 10. Fifth target, 2 rounds. Kill. Second 11. Sixth target. This one gets a shot off. The round passes close enough to Briggs's ear that he can hear it snap through the air. Close. But close only counts in horseshoes and hand grenades. He returns fire. 2 rounds. The shooter falls. Second 13. 7 targets down, plus the 5 from the grenade. 12 total, 6 remaining. Briggs's magazine is running low. He has expended approximately 16 rounds, 4 left, 6 targets. The math no longer works. Second 14. He fires his remaining 4 rounds in rapid succession. 3 hits, 1 miss, the first miss of the engagement. 3 more soldiers down. Second 17. 3 enemies remaining. His Thompson is empty. No time to reload. Second 18. Briggs drops the Thompson, letting it hang on its sling. His hand moves to his hip. The Colt 45 clears the holster in a motion so fast it seems to blur. Mr. Kowalczyk's training. 10,000 repetitions. 20,000. Until the draw becomes as natural as breathing. Second 19. First pistol shot. The nearest Japanese soldier, a young man who looks terrified, takes the round in his chest. He crumples. Second 20. The 2 remaining soldiers have recovered enough to understand what is happening. One raises his rifle. The other pulls the pin on a grenade. Briggs shoots the grenadier first. The round takes him in the forehead. The grenade falls from his dead fingers. Still live, still counting down. Second 22. The last soldier fires. The bullet tears through Briggs's left arm, passing through the muscle of his bicep without hitting bone. Pain. Bright and hot and immediate. Briggs ignores it. Second 23. He fires twice. Both rounds hit. The last Japanese soldier falls backward into the underbrush. Second 24. The dropped grenade detonates, but the bodies of the fallen soldiers absorb most of the shrapnel. Briggs feels something hot slice across his right cheek. Minor wound. Superficial. Second 30. Silence. Corporal Raymond Briggs stands alone in a clearing now carpeted with bodies. 18 Japanese soldiers. Dead. All of them. The smell is immediate and overwhelming. Cordite. Blood. The particular scent of human entrails exposed to open air. Smoke drifts through the shattered vegetation like fog. Briggs's hands are shaking. Not from fear, from adrenaline. The human body is not designed for this level of intensity. Even his nervous system, his preternaturally calm nervous system, has limits. He looks down at his arm. Blood is soaking through his sleeve, dripping from his fingertips onto the jungle floor. He needs to bandage it. He needs to move. More patrols will come. The gunfire and explosions will have been heard. But for a moment, he just stands there, breathing, alive. 27 rounds, 1 grenade, 18 men. The mathematics had been impossible. He had done it anyway. Later that afternoon, Corporal Raymond Briggs stumbles into an American forward outpost on the western bank of the Agno River. He has walked 4 miles with a bullet wound in his arm and shrapnel in his face. He is covered in blood, most of it not his own. He has not eaten in 30 hours. He has not slept in 48. The jungle had tried to kill him even after the Japanese failed. He had crossed 3 streams swollen with recent rain. He had climbed terrain so steep, he had to pull himself up by roots and vines. His wounded arm screamed with every movement. The shrapnel in his face had attracted flies that he could not keep away. At one point, he heard another patrol in the distance. He froze against a tree for 20 minutes, barely breathing, while enemy soldiers passed within 50 yards of his position. They did not see him. He was a ghost. He had always been a ghost. The nickname his squadmates gave him had been more accurate than they knew. The soldiers at the outpost initially raised their weapons, unsure if this blood-soaked apparition is friend or foe. Briggs croaks out his name, rank, and serial number. Someone recognizes him from the 25th Division, shoulder patch barely visible under the grime. They take him to the aid station. A medic cleans and bandages his wounds. Neither is serious. The bullet passed cleanly through his bicep, missing the bone and major blood vessels by millimeters. The shrapnel in his cheek is removed with tweezers. 8 small fragments. He will carry the scars for the rest of his life. An intelligence officer debriefs him. Briggs reports on the patrol, the ambush, the deaths of Henley, Washington, and Callahan. He reports on the enemy positions he observed during his escape. He mentions, almost as an afterthought, the encounter with the 18-man patrol. The intelligence officer asks him to repeat that part. Briggs does. The officer stares at him for a long moment. That evening, a patrol is sent to verify Briggs's account. They find the clearing. They count the bodies. 18. All Japanese Imperial Army. The physical evidence matches Briggs's description exactly. The report goes up the chain of command. By the following week, it has reached division headquarters. By the end of the month, it is on the desk of General MacArthur himself. What Corporal Raymond Briggs did on the morning of March 17, 1945, becomes part of military legend. 18 enemy soldiers killed in approximately 30 seconds of sustained combat. The official Army analysis concludes that the engagement demonstrated exceptional individual combat effectiveness, exceeding documented norms by a factor of approximately 400%. The language of military bureaucracy does not do justice to what actually occurred. For his actions, Corporal Briggs is awarded the Distinguished Service Cross, the second highest military decoration that can be given to a member of the United States Army. The citation speaks of extraordinary heroism in combat, conspicuous gallantry at the risk of his life above and beyond the call of duty, and individual performance that saved the lives of fellow soldiers by preventing the enemy patrol from reporting on American positions. Briggs accepts the medal in a brief ceremony at division headquarters. Photographs from the event show a thin young man with bandages still visible on his face. His expression is difficult to read. Not proud, not humble, something more complicated. The expression of a man who knows he has discovered something about himself that he cannot unknow. The war ends 5 months later, September 2nd, 1945. VJ Day. Raymond Briggs is standing on a beach in the Philippines when he hears the news. He looks out at the Pacific Ocean, the same ocean that carried him to war, and thinks about what comes next. He is 23 years old. He has killed, by official count, 47 enemy combatants. He has been wounded 3 times. He has watched friends die in ways that will visit him in nightmares for decades. And now it is over. Briggs returns to Akron in October 1945. His father meets him at the train station. The older man looks at his son and sees something different than the skinny boy who left 4 years earlier. Raymond has filled out. His frame is still slight, but there is a hardness to him now. A density. His eyes, most of all, have changed. They embrace on the platform. Neither man speaks. There are no words adequate to the moment. His mother weeps when she sees him. His brothers shake his hand with a formality that feels strange. The house smells the same. The neighborhood looks the same. But everything has changed because Raymond has changed. The first week home, he cannot sleep indoors. The walls feel too close, the ceiling too low. He spends 3 nights on the back porch in a lawn chair, wrapped in a blanket, staring at the stars. The same stars he navigated by in the Philippine jungle. His mother watches from the kitchen window but says nothing. Raymond Briggs does not speak much about his war experiences. When asked, he offers vague generalities. "We did what we had to do. I was lucky." The real heroes did not come home. The standard deflections of men who have seen too much. He returns to work at his father's tire factory. He meets a woman named Margaret Donovan at a church social in 1947. They marry the following spring. They have 3 children over the next decade, 2 boys and a girl. Margaret is a quiet woman with auburn hair and a patience that seems infinite. She does not ask Raymond about the war. She does not push when he falls silent at the dinner table, his eyes distant, seeing something the rest of them cannot see. She simply takes his hand and waits for him to come back. He always comes back. That is the thing about Raymond Briggs. He always comes back. The children grow up knowing their father is different from other fathers. He does not raise his voice. Ever. He does not lose his temper, even when the boys break the garage window with a baseball, or when their daughter stays out past curfew. There is a stillness in him that other men do not possess. A centeredness. His oldest son, Raymond Jr., asks him once why he is so calm all the time. Raymond Sr. thinks for a long moment before answering. After you have faced the worst thing you can imagine, everything else seems manageable. He does not elaborate. He does not need to. From the outside, Raymond Briggs's post-war life is indistinguishable from thousands of other returning veterans. He works. He raises his family. He goes to church on Sundays. He coaches his son's little league teams. He teaches his daughter to shoot, though she shows no particular aptitude or interest. Only Margaret knows about the nightmares, the nights when Raymond wakes in a cold sweat, reaching for a weapon that is not there, the times she finds him sitting alone in the darkness of their backyard, staring at nothing. He never tells her the details. She never asks. In 1972, Raymond retires from the tire factory. He takes up fishing, spends his days at a small lake outside Akron, sitting in a folding chair with a rod in his hands, and nothing but sky and water and silence. A reporter from the Akron Beacon Journal tracks him down in 1985, working on a 40th anniversary story about the end of World War II. Raymond agrees to an interview reluctantly. The reporter asks about the incident with the 18 Japanese soldiers. Raymond is quiet for a long time. People make it sound like something special. It was not. It was survival. Them or me. I chose me. The reporter presses, asks about technique, training, the psychology of combat. Raymond looks at him with those eyes that have seen too much. You want to know what I was thinking when those soldiers came through the trees? Same thing I was always thinking. Same thing I thought every day for 8 months. Get home, see my family again. That is it. Nothing complicated. Nothing heroic. Just a man who wanted to live. He pauses. The ones who died over there. Henley, Washington, Callahan, all the others. They wanted to live too. They did not make it. I did. There is no reason for that. No explanation. Just luck and timing and some skills I picked up from an old Polish man with a pocket watch. The reporter asks one final question. Does he regret it? Any of it? Raymond Briggs looks out at his lake. The water is still. A bird calls somewhere in the trees. I regret that it was necessary. I regret that the world is the kind of place where young men have to learn to kill each other. I regret every one of those 47 men I killed. They had families too. Mothers who cried when they got the news. Fathers who wondered what went wrong. I think about that sometimes. He reaches down and picks up his fishing rod. But regret what I did? No, I did what the situation required. I came home. I had a family. I had a life. That is more than a lot of good men got. Raymond Briggs dies in his sleep on February 14th, 1998. He is 76 years old. His obituary in the Akron paper mentions his Distinguished Service Cross. His children learn details about his wartime service that they never knew. His grandson, studying military history in college, eventually pieces together the full story. He writes a paper about his grandfather's engagement on March 17, 1945. The paper is well received. His professor encourages him to expand it into a book. The book is never written. Some stories belong to the people who lived them. Raymond Briggs never sought recognition for what he did in that Philippine jungle. He never traded on his wartime heroism. He simply lived his life with quiet dignity. A man who faced the impossible and survived, and then came home and built something ordinary and beautiful from the wreckage of war. 18 men in 30 seconds. The mathematics were impossible, but mathematics are cold. They do not account for will, for training, for the desperate need to survive, for the human capacity to perform beyond all reasonable expectation when everything depends on it. Raymond Briggs was 5 feet 6 inches tall. He weighed 142 pounds. He was a tire factory worker from Akron, Ohio. He was also something else, something the world creates in moments of extreme need and then mercifully allows to return to normalcy. A warrior, a survivor, a man who smiled in the face of certain death because he knew something his enemies did not know. He knew he was going home, whatever it took.